Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this series of videos is about Venus and the various signs, and now I've worked my way up to Venus and Leo. Venus indicates the type of lover you are. It indicates the way that you love and the perception other people have of you as a lover. It indicates your artistic sensibilities, the type of art that you create, what you appreciate artistically, the kind of fun that you have. And with Leo, we're talking about somebody who is larger than life. So it's really important to understand that because Venus is a personal planet, it can really influence the overall makeup of the personality. If somebody has a nondescript sun sign like Cancer or Virgo, and by nondescript, I'm not putting down anybody's sign. It's talking about the more subdued signs, that they don't tend to express themselves very flamboyantly. And for sure, Leo is a very flamboyant sign. So when you're talking about Venus in Leo, you're talking about people who may exhibit theatrical behavior. As a matter of fact, talking about art and how somebody expresses themselves artistically, people with a prominent Venus, for instance, in a personal planet like this, can be actors. They can be performers in some capacity. And they may have a certain magnetism that draws other people into them. They can enjoy giving fancy parties and really entertaining in a very lavish kind of way. If Venus is afflicted, they may be very snobbish and exhibit diva-like behavior. I hope I don't get in trouble here, but I would say even if they don't have an afflicted Venus, there will always tend to be a bit of the diva in this particular placement, because Leo thinks of itself as royalty, and they expect the royal treatment, therefore. They want attention, and they may stoop sometimes to attention-getting behavior. So Venus in Leo loves art for sure. There's no question about that. This is like Venus in Libra. But unlike Libra, which is ruled by Venus, Leo is ruled by the sun. So the connection with art is twofold. I don't know if it's actually apart from one another. Because Leo is ruled by the sun, we think of the sun as a creative influence, and it sustains all life. So that is one aspect of the connection to art and creativity in general. Also, children is part of this as well. You think about the sun card in the major arcana of the tarot, and how it shows in the Rider-Waite deck, it shows a child, and the sun card represents success and love and creativity. And the same thing applies to Leo and the fifth house, which Leo rules and the sun rules. We're talking about children, creativity, which is what children are all about. It's a form of creativity. And about fun and games, another thing that we associate with Venus being all about the pleasures in life and love. So, having said that, we can assume that Leo is among the most romantic signs, which they are. They're also very generous. But there's a catch. You have to adore them in order for them to really feel like they want to keep giving to you. And they also want your attention. They want your loyalty. If that goes away, then probably the money is going to go away as well. But they're very warm-hearted, and this, of course, is true of Leo sun signs. But if the person has a sun sign that is not known for being as touchy-feely and just sunny in their disposition, this will lend some warmth to them. They love children and the finer things in life. And yes, they can be full of drama. So that's something that has to be taken into consideration. If you're dealing with somebody like this, you may be like, why do you always have to make this big production number about everything? And it's because they do not play small. Everything is taken to the next level. So let's talk about if your sun is in a particular sign and how that relates to Venus and Leo. And again, I don't know why, but if you haven't found out what your Venus sign is in, look below this video and I have a link to the list. And then you just scroll down to your particular date. But the other thing too is that I wanted to kind of remind people is that Leo is a fixed sign, so this creates more constancy, but also in some cases more obstinacy. You know, the person can be more stubborn and less likely to change. So if the sun sign, the thing that I really wanted to let you know too is that your Venus sign can never be far from your sun sign. So it's only going to be either as far 2 signs behind you in your sign or 2 signs ahead. So if you are a sun in Leo, you can't have Venus in Aquarius, your opposite sign. Impossible. Okay, so if your sun is in Leo, that's 2 signs back. Having Venus... Oh, did I say sun in Leo? I meant sun in Gemini. I don't know if I said that. 2 signs back. This makes you more emotive, less detached, as we associate with the air sign Gemini, which tends to be more in the mind. This can make you an extremely entertaining individual to be around. People can find you quite sociable, and you can be more affectionate than the typical Gemini. You can also be more capable of commitment. But this is great for anybody who is an entertainer because you're just like pure masculine energy in the sense that it's outward directed. So there's not that inhibition. Can be great for somebody who is an entertainer. But even if you're just going to a party, you can be somebody that people enjoy having at their gatherings. So if your sun is in Cancer, this can make you less cautious in love. This can make you more confident as a lover, and you may go after a partner more readily, whether you're male or female, because Cancer is a water sign, which means it's yin, it's feminine energy, and whether the person is a man or a woman, they may be more passive. They may be more cautious about sticking their neck out for possible rejection, especially when you're talking about a water sign like Cancer that is very timid sometimes, hypersensitive at some times in their life or I was going to say it sometimes in the day because they don't want to get hurt. So this makes you more passionate, kind of like not so emo, but just more, it's like a what do you call it? Impersonal type of emotion. Whereas I separate emotional from passionate, because I think the fire signs are more passionate and they're not really tied into their own little egos and things like that. Whereas the water signs tend to brood about things that happen to them personally. I think of more like with the fire signs, it's more about ideas and ideals and less about personal situations. So you might be more passionate and less inclined to be emotional in that personal sense. And you might be more fun-loving and less serious. Sometimes Cancers are they're so diligent and they're so responsible and so interested in feathering their nest and having that security in their life that they may forget to have fun. They're so busy planning for the future that they might forget to have fun in the present. I associate Leo with kind of like the inner child, the person who may be grown, but they're like an overgrown kid sometimes, where they just love to just be playful. And that can make Cancers more playful. If your sun sign is in Leo, oh my goodness, that is really something else. You're going to be very outgoing, to say the least. That could be on steroids, almost like a prima donna. That's something to definitely watch out for. A very aggressive nature because it's double fire. So you have to watch out for a tendency to try to overpower another person in the romantic sphere. So like even a woman may be more inclined to chase after a partner, and that could be problematic in the sense that they create a dynamic of attracting perhaps a passive male, and ultimately that won't go over well because you will very likely eventually lose respect for that person. You will see them as weak, whether or not they really are, I'm saying, But there's an even greater chance that you are a performer with this double Leo energy, because you certainly are very immersed in the arts. And so with the sun there as well, and being that the sun rules Leo, it seems like it's a done deal. Now let's look at analytical Virgo, Virgo being an earth sign. It definitely makes you more outgoing. And I didn't put this here, but more creative and less critical, because Virgo likes to analyze, and sometimes Virgos can get very petty with their analysis and they can play small. Virgo's all about details, and the fire signs are about the bigger picture. The fire signs are very expansive. Fire expands, and it wants to experience as much of life as it can. It's not interested in compartmentalizing their life. They just want to have it all come in. And so with the sun in Virgo and having Venus in Leo, it can also make the person more generous, more warm, affectionate. And that can be very good when you're looking for love, because Virgos can be kind of standoffish. They can be kind of like cold fish in a way. And this can make them much more generous, warm-hearted, and even like sexy in an overt way, because they tend to be very chaste, looking and acting. And that's, believe me, that can be quite an act with Virgo. They may be very chaste on the outside and quite lusty when you get them alone. But this can even increase that. So I think that it's actually a very good addition to a sun in Virgo. For the sun in Libra, this can really make the person extremely extroverted, entertaining. In other words, we have this sign that is ruled by Venus along with Venus in Leo. So we have a very strongly artistic nature. The person can be very generous, and they can be very confident socially and just in life in general. Can be a very attractive person because Librans tend to be attractive. And with Leo, it's more of the attraction is coming from the charisma. So the downside of this could be somebody who is very shallow or seeking celebrity, being around the elite or I could say, instead of saying the elite, being around the rich and famous. And that can be very shallow, where they're just kind of social climbers, the beautiful people, so to speak. And it's not that there's anything wrong with hanging around people that are successful or what have you, but if your sole aim is to mingle with those people to the exclusion of others because they happen to have a certain status, then that can lead to a very shallow life, because it could be a life of appearances where it's all about who you know. And so, but this is a very good combination for an entertainer, and also for somebody who is looking for love, because the romantic nature is extremely, I would say is an overriding theme in their life. And it can make them very attractive to potential partners as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly have. This has been kind of a fun thing to do. If you would like a personal reading where I look at your natal chart, and I have other types of readings, please visit me at rainandmoonastrology.com or click on the link below. Take care, you guys. Bye.